All right, folks. This is a car lot job. Okay. We'll start with something like this. Is usually cheaper and easier to buy a new fender, paint it, replace it. All right. Story of this goes: the wrong part was delivered. I reordered for the right part. It showed up Friday. I was in a hurry. There were several people in the shop. I screwed up. I pulled a rookie mistake, a rookie error, and they sent me a left fender. I reordered for a right fender. Little burp there. I reordered for a right fender. They sent me a left fender again. Okay. In all of my splendid glory and amazing, astute powers of observation, I took and painted that fender. Get in here Monday morning, I'm going to put it on. I got a little run, a little sag in the clear coat. I was going to wet sand it and polish it. It's the wrong fucking side. This vendor I use is from out of state, and it would be late this week when I got it. It would be end of the week when I got this pushed back out. This was supposed to be ready Saturday. Family obligations prohibited me from getting here Saturday. So, here comes the video part, the interesting portion. I did the repair. It was caved in. I stud pulled it. I went inside, pulled the headlight out, and went inside the headlight bucket and pushed it out. I did a lot of hammer and stud pull work to get it very, very close. It looked fairly good. I got one high spot right here that keeps poking through, and I tapped it just a little bit. It's a parking lot car. It's a car lot car. We're not going to get real crazy over how much Bondo's there. Okay? There's always too much Bondo in a car lot car. Sorry. But what we are going to do is we're going to look at how do we address these body line issues that we've got. Okay? This wheel arch has a little flat lip on it. You can just barely see down here where my hand is. I'm going to take this pencil and I'm going to come back here to where I've got a good static number on that arch where it flattens out. And I'm going to bring that around just like this. Okay. That gives me a nice hard line there. This one here, not quite so simple, but we got this. And this will actually take you have to do it once on the bottom and once on the top of the line as you're sanding this out. The bodywork's roughed in, now we're fine tuning it and filling in pocket marks. So, we'll come off of our line, and we just want a nice, sometimes you got to wipe this down because you've got Bondo dust anyhow. I'm going to wad this up, use this like a tack cloth. Don't worry, it'll get sanded before you try to put any product on it. See if that helps our matters any. So you come off that point, I'm pretty satisfied with where that point's at. And this is basically just venting this line because it's a swoop. But it's got to be pretty straight within the parameters. Now I can see where that's at. I can sand down to that with a hand block. And I've got several different hand blocks. I've got one that uses just a little scrap of file paper. And then I've got one also that you utilize with a DA disc, okay? The one with 80 grits floating around here. I'm probably sitting on it to be real forward. So down here, you probably want a round block. So we're going to go ahead and get that out. Round block. I don't need all that much sandpaper on it. I just need to cover the end mostly down to a point. Because I'm not going to end up utilizing the whole block on this wheel arch. So you peel your stupid tape back and stick it on there. Simple, very basic. You come across in a crosshatch idea. and work your way down to it slowly, down to that wheel arch. You want to separate this contour, which has got a little swoop to it, from the flat. Feathering out some body filler. And if that's not enough for you, you go down to your local hardware store. Yourself a can of $1 a can flat black. So these are two different ways of establishing the same curvature and characteristics in a panel. This is going to help you a long ways when you're fixing that parking lot ding on your wife's car. And you would rather buy hot rod parts than send it to the body shop. Well, this is your answer. Get yourself a piping hot cup of coffee, a couple sanding blocks, a little bit of body filler. Now, I don't skimp on my body filler. I use relative expensive body filler. And I learned over the years, unless your hobby and time is of no consequence and papers is of no consequence, you buy good quality body filler. I'm going to buy a $40 bucket of body filler where most people will spend $15, because it doesn't clog up the paper and doesn't use up the paper as quickly. They're a buck a throw, right? Thereabouts per sheet or per disc for your DA. And it gives me a lot more flexibility while sanding, because it sands much easier. This particular product sands about like your finishing putty would sand. So then we come in here and we're going to establish this. You can see where it's starting to come through, where it's starting to look like something. I'm being very careful. I've taped this so I don't scratch my bumper cover. I'm being very careful I don't drag this down, cut my tape, and hence ruin my bumper cover. You can see where it's a little ripply yet, but we're getting there. We're getting to the desired profile. Pretty much all converges right in this area on this particular fender, where it all fleshes out to the same plane. That's very, very close, as you can see. Now we'll come back to this line and see if we can't get it straightened out a little bit. Now, if this were just a straight body line, for me, I would rely entirely on the tape, because that yellow masking tape, that body man's masking tape, it's flexible, it'll stretch. So you get it hooked around a corner or something, and you pull it out and you find, point A, you pull it out, you find point B, and you stretch that shit just a little bit, contact it, it's straight as, boom, straight as an arrow. It's as straight as any other mechanism you're going to come across aside from perhaps a laser. They make those little tripod lasers that groundwork crews use. Seems a little overkill to me. Anyhow, my favorite method is the spray can method. You can see how I've got this little swoop again. I can manufacture that as long as it's not wavy, as long as it carries that gradual curve. I can hand block it out and make it look exactly how I want. So that kind of concludes what I wanted to look at here today with you folks. This here, I can spray paint this again and then come across here. See, you can see where it's light here and there's still paint here. So there's a little crown, a little bit of a crown going on. So, and we keep it sanding. We're going to bring that crown out. And then you end up with this little tiny pencil thin, and then it disappears. You can overcome and engulf that tape, that paint line rather quickly. But we know where we're at now. At this point, I'll sand this out here. I will reapply the final finish of body filler. This is second coat of body filler is what this is. I'll put the third and final coat of body filler on, because as you build up body filler, you want to build up thin. Because if you build up too thick, it'll stay doughy inside and other shit can happen, and you don't want it thick anyhow. So I'll build up another thin coat of body filler after I sand off all this rattle can spray paint and get these lines close, really close, and I'll shoot this whole repair area with flat black, and I will go about sanding it off exactly how I showed you folks here to give you the finish, the fit and finish that you need. I'll go with 80, get it roughed, get it really close, get the lines near where I want them. I'll come back with 180 and I'll finish sanding it down. I will then come in with 180 on a DA and an interface. Give me just a second, I will go show you that. Alright, so then I will turn to, see that? This is the pad itself. This is the interface, it's foam. I'll use 180 on this, and what it'll do is any stray scratches I've got in the work area, past the damage that I've created sanding it, by machine or by hand blocking, it'll turn them into basically little pigtail swirls with the 180. I can primer this in a high build primer, spray paint that son of a bitch black one more time, and then I come back with a 320 on this. And once I've knocked almost all the black off, I'll wet sand it and the whole panel down with 600. That's not the precise way to go about it. For this level of repair, it's more than enough. You take it down to 600, paint will fill a 600 scratch, and then you can paint it and clear coat it. At that point, it's basic black, so long as I don't cause any runs or orange peel. Runs are more likely. I'm solid, I'm good to go. I pull the paper and tape and I send this one down the road. So that kind of concludes it. That's how you get body lines back, whether it's a 2005 Ford Windstar or a 1952 Studebaker. That's how you get your hard style lines back in a car. That's how I get the hard style lines back in the car, and I see some guys out there doing very similar things, so I must be on the right track, right? Holler at me if you have advice, complaints, or otherwise, but until next time, you folks have a good day. Wow, made it to the end of the video. Thanks for checking in. Come back on the next one. See what the hell we're up to next time. Subscribe, comment. Find us on over on the old Facebook, Smith Welding Restoration LLC on Facebook. Numbers at the beginning. Have any questions? Call.